All right, guys, I think I have owned the Christopher Ward Trident C60 42 mil white dial long enough to share some thoughts on it. Let's just get into the case size first. We'll do some close-ups of it. I don't think I'm going to talk about the branding on the dial. Maybe I will. We'll see how I feel. But case size 42 millimeter, excluding crown guards and crown. Lug tip to lug tip, 49.2 millimeter. Thickness, I measure 13.7, so a little thick. Feels fine on wrist though. 22 millimeter lug width, bracelet tapers down nicely to 18 millimeter. And then you have a really nice solid clasp. I mean, like, I don't think there's anything better you could do with this clasp. This clasp is what I wish other watches had on it. It has a quick adjust here. You just slide that back there and adjust away on the fly. So no tools, plenty of adjustment, and double pushers, easy to operate, but yet plenty secure enough and very clean and sleek looking with just their logo there. So excellent bracelet, excellent clasp. Overall, I mean, spoiler alert, if you don't want to watch the video much longer than a minute and 30 seconds, I'm a huge fan of this watch. This watch, I feel like this watch is going to save me a bunch of money, because every time I lust after a higher end watch, especially the Omega Seamaster Professional white dials, full ceramic, you could probably pick one of those up. Maybe if you're lucky for around $4,500. I paid $760 for this guy on sale. Retail on this Ward is $895. If you're importing it to the United States, or whatever that's called, you're going to pay some fees on that. I guess the flag comes up at a like $800 mark. So anything above that, and you're going to get hit with some extra fees. At $760, as far as I can tell, I've avoided that. I don't know what the rules are on that. I'll have to keep track of that. But I think, especially if you can find one of these on sale, I mean, really, even at the full retail at $895, I still think it's worth it. You're talking, it's under $1,000, even with the fees and everything. This watch is easily worth that much. I'm excited about the fact that I paid $760 for it. So, Sellita SW200 movement in it. I just pulled it off the time grapher. I'm looking over there at the numbers. Dial up running plus 8 seconds. That's well within the specs of an SW200, which is plus minus 20 seconds. So I'll keep an eye on it, but I suspect I'm not going to have any problems with it. The lume, which I'll show towards the end of the video, full loomed ceramic bezel insert. Excellent lume on the hands and the indices. It is a X1 GL C1 formula. Kind of reminds me of like a little bit mild C3X1. So I know there's probably a bunch of new formulas with all these letters and numbers. But bottom line is the lume is excellent. So really cool signed crown there. And I know a lot of people would be totally fine with just that branding on the dial, which it does have it ghosted in just below the 12. And, you guys can comment down in the comments. Keep it clean. Your thoughts on the Christopher Ward on the dial. Straight up though, I like it. The fact is, the brand is Christopher Ward. That's the way they write their branding. So unless they were going to change their brand name, what else are they supposed to do? They have to put their brand name on the watch. I think maybe I could see them doing the logo a little bit bigger, just below the 12, and then just keep the Christopher Ward branding on the back, I guess. Maybe that would make some of you guys happy. I'm fine with it on the dial. Would it be nicer if it was done like what I just said? I don't know, maybe. I guess I'd have to see it. If somebody wants to mock that up and send me a link to it, I'd be curious to look at it. But I like the way it's laid out now, I really do. I can straight up say I prefer this model far superior to this is the Mark III model. I prefer this particular model, the case design, the bezel layout, the dial layout, the handset, all of that, much better than Mark I, Mark II. The case is just awesome. It has so much dimension to it. Hard lines, not just transitions. Let me zoom in. Not just like finishing transitions, I mean, those are hard lines into the case. Those are milled into the case. You can clearly see on the bottom side. On the top side, they're polished to brushed finishes. And then it gets even more elaborate on the crown side because you have the integrated crown guards into that milled out part. So just an excellent job on that. And look at the bevel on that bezel. And then a really nice sapphire, flat sapphire with AR coating on the bottom side. I think they said that sapphire is 3.4 millimeter thick, which you have to get to a certain thickness with those to get that 600 meter water depth rating. So you can see Swiss made on the dial. Pretty clean dial, really, other than, people's big complaint with that Christopher Ward on the dial. Like I said, I like it. The Trident seconds hand on the balance is awesome. Very cleanly done, just printed on framed date window there with the, just so clean. You don't need, I don't want to bash on any other brands, but I don't need a huge indice style framed out date window. Just a little attention to it like this, plenty, especially on this white dial. So you can see a little on the indices, you can see like a little bit of brush, a little bit of polish. So brushed on the top side, still catches light, interesting. And then as it chamfers down towards the center of the dial, it's polished so that it, reflects light even different there. So you can see on the handset, a little interesting detail there. So towards the center of the handsets is actually brushed and on the outside is polished. And then you also notice that on the hour hand, it's brushed towards the tip. So it catches light really weird. Certain angles, it has like a black polish look to it. It makes it a little more legible. So just weird, interesting things on this. The longer I've owned it, then the more I look at it. Just a great looking watch. Punches way above its price point. I think you guys, if you were to try one, you're going to agree with me. I guarantee it. And especially if you can get one at a sale price, if you're a flipper like I am, you're going to do okay. If you pay full retail and you're a keeper, that's fine too. Try to get a sale. Actually, Ward's been doing, because we're doing the stay at home thing with the virus, but Ward has been posting up. If you pay attention every day, they're doing daily specials on their website. And I'll put a link to their website down in the description where they're doing, I think they're like promo watches or photograph watches and stuff like that, where they're doing 50% off. 2 bronze C60s popped up today for like around $450 each. At 50% off, guys, you're going to do fine. There's like a zero risk, in purchasing that. Any of the automatic Wards, if you can get one for 50% off, brand new from Ward, that it's a demo model or whatever, you could try it and then sell it. You'll get all of your money back, if not more. I honestly believe that. Bezel action on this guy, no lie, probably one of the best bezel actions I've tried in, I don't know, years out of all the watches I've tried. And that's including some higher end stuff. 120 click, insanely consistent, excellent noise out of this thing. Hopefully some of that noise is coming through on the mic and you guys can hear it. It has a little bit of settle back, but no play really. And it just lines up perfect. Let me pop this guy on wrist real quick for you. This will be on my approximately 7 1/4 inch wrist. I have it a little bit loose right now, but wears great. And I know in pictures and maybe video, unless I get a little bit further away, it's going to look a little bit bigger than what it looks like in person and what it feels like on wrist. I'm super happy that I went with the 42 and not the 40. For one, the white dial is not available in the 40. I think they should do the white dial in the 40. I think it would sell really good. White dial watches seem to be kind of hot right now, at least in my mind there. But I think it works great. Here it is, size comparison next to a Seiko SKX. I'm trying to keep them at about the same plane so you can see approximate size of them. So, if you're wearing some of these watches, I don't know, if you have a wrist close to my size, you're going to wear the 42, no problem. I know people with closer to like 6 1/4, 6.5 inch wrists that will still wear the 42. Yes, it's a bigger watch on them. You can totally wear it, I'm telling you. And I did have some people asking me to compare the Ward to the Manta. I don't really like to like do a versus or compare watches anymore because I don't feel like these watches compete. I think they complement, like they can coexist, if you will, in the collection, because they coexist in my collection. They're two different kinds of watches. You know, the finishing on the Manta is phenomenal. The finishing on the Ward is phenomenal, but it's two different ways of doing it. So it's not apples to apple. I really don't believe that. And the Manta is definitely thinner and a smaller case overall. That's another reason why I just don't think you can compare them. And they're different price leagues. I mean, this is, say, a $900 watch. This is a $1,900 watch. So you're entering into a world where you're like, is the Manta $1,000 more? Well, yes, it is worth $1,000 more because people buy them at that price point. So that's what determines what a watch is worth, not you and I saying, you know, is the Ward really worth, you know, 2 to 3 times as much as an SKX? They can coexist. You can have an SKX and a Ward. They shouldn't compete with one another. They're different watches. That's just my opinion on that. These also have, and I really don't see myself using it very much, but they have these bars here that, well, especially if you have fingernails, you can push them together and you can pop the end link right off. So, and then, you know, you could do a quick strap change, and just makes it a little easier to operate that. Now, whether I can get it back on is easy, it's a whole nother question, because I have this camera in front of me, aka the iPhone. People ask me what I record on. It's, oh, well, there you go. I didn't even fumble with it. And then once you get it in there, you know, just make sure that they're pushed out and give it a little tug, a little wiggle. Yeah, you're good. I mean, that's crazy simple. It's crazy easy. So, yeah, there's other strap options there. If you guys like to swap them out, they made it easy. And this is all done, like I said, I'm going to keep referencing, you know, 760 because that's what I paid. And if you're patient, they at least do that sale, I know, twice a year. I think it was like 20 or 25% off, whatever the number ends up being. So if you're just patient, or you can find a used one, or just be patient and get that discount, you're going to get one of these for less than $800. And that's insane value, I think. All right, guys, I guess we can do the crown real quick. Nice oversized crown. That's probably about a 7mm crown. Let me measure that because I know some people might care. Yeah, just under 7mm. Which, I don't know if you guys know this, for certain size watches, the 7mm crown is just perfect. So first position, nice pop to it, nice whine. Then you got your date set, which I'm not going to do because I'm not in a good time for it. And then, of course, you have hack. And then very little crown wobble on that guy. Pretty tight altogether. So nice little backspin, thread it right back in, 600-meter water resistance. All right, guys, let me give you that lume shot, and then I'm going to close out. Excellent lume, excellent lume. I mean, even next to, like, say, a Seiko. I mean, that's how good the lume is. It's hard to beat it, guys. Zero regrets on buying this. Zero. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next vid.